Here's the receiving line in James Place now, and Seaside Walk, Long Beach. And the mob is coming up to the reception line. They invited 120, just about everybody was there. One of the singers, a great voice. Also a great voice. The other one running away over there. Okay, here we are at Chuck and Jane's Place now, and the tent is getting set up for the buffet dinner. And around the beach, Long Beach, with the harbor off in the distance, and everybody celebrating. And we've got 3 floors of hors d'oeuvres, wine, beer, drinks, you name it. More people, and Jane holding court. Just kind of listening and nodding. Being married, that's the thing you learn how to do. You listen and you do a lot of nodding. And that's a remodeled kitchen. They took out the wall, and Jane holding court again. Now we're getting ready to move out of here across the boardwalk over here, pardon my panning, to the tent, where we're going to have a buffet dinner.
I'm Jane's son. Let's start with a story. There's a couple that have been married a long time. A couple had been married a long time, and they started working on their bucket list. And really, that's a nice way of saying old people. You're supposed to know you're proud, right? All right, I'll do a different one. 2 babies walk into a bar. So this couple has been married a long time, and they're working on their bucket list. They come across a helicopter pilot, and riding in a helicopter is top pretty high on the husband's list. And so, I'd like to do that. How much is it? He says, well, $50. I'll take you up. Sure, he does a good time. He goes, $50. It's kind of a lot. You know, I'm sorry, I don't think so. Helicopter pilot thinks. He goes, you know what? You seem like a really nice couple who's been married a long time, working on your bucket list. He says, tell you what, I think you'll have such a good time in the helicopter ride that you won't be able to contain your enthusiasm. I'll make you a wager. If you can get through the ride without saying anything, it'll be free. All right, sounds good. So they go up in this helicopter ride, and the helicopter pilot starts doing these dips and whoops, and he's swinging around, and he's listening, and he's got nothing. No, whoa, or woo, nothing. He's like, okay, so he turns it on a little bit, jams the throttle, pulling some G's, swinging around, nothing. He's like, okay, he finally gives up, starts heading back to the helicopter pad, and he says, hey, you guys really impressed me. I took my hat off to you. I thought you'd say something. Husband goes, well, I almost said something when she fell out of the helicopter. Like, $50 is $50. Okay, that was a joke, obviously. There's a joke. Oh, no. I should have gone with 2 babies in or a bar. Okay. Really, though, it's true story here. When I was in high school, we had this teacher, and I was a sophomore, so that's 15. That's right at the age where you know everything, right, Riley? And people really didn't like this teacher. He was a little bit weird, but he told us, write down the 5 things that are most important to you. 5 really important things, so we did that. And he said, I want you each to think of the one that's most important to you, and then we'll go around and see what everybody says is most important to them. So it was things like, we're 15, so it was like, maybe get into a good college, wanted to pass my driver's license test, get a car, things like that. Nobody asked for a cell phone, Riley. No one had cell phones. Didn't even exist back then. I think mine was I wanted to win the football game on Friday. And the teacher says, you guys are all wrong. Wrong? What do you mean wrong? You asked us what was important to us. How can we be wrong? And he said the thing that should be the thing that is most important to you is finding happiness. We go, come on, how can you tell us what is most important to us? What do you mean find happiness? And he said all those things that you ask for, getting a car, getting your license, getting a good college, finding a career, winning the football game on Friday, those all will make you happy. And we're like, I'm not buying it. I mean, come on, we're 15. We know everything already. What if what's most important to me is to make somebody else happy? We got him. He said, well, if making the other person happy makes you happy, it's important to you. All right, what if it's really important to you to have someone else be safe, and so they're about to get hit by a car and you jump in front of the car and push them out of the way, or you jump on a grenade. What if that's most important to me? Then how are you going to be happy about that? And then he just gave up on us, and we kind of, we never really got it that day. I did finally get it later, though. When it comes down to it, if you love someone so much that to jump in front of a car and push them out of the way, or jump on that grenade, even if for a fleeting moment their safety is that important to you, that makes you happy. That pursuit of happiness. That's what really matters. That's what's really important. And we should have known it. I mean, it's in the Declaration of Independence, right? Life, we got. Liberty, we got. The pursuit of happiness. That's what we have to find. Even Chuck mentioned it, right? The pursuit of happiness. That's what's really important to us. So how do we find that happiness? Now, there's a quote from a movie, and I know it's an older movie and it's a little bit cheesy, but I like this scene, and it's City Slickers. I know, kind of silly.
Yay,
but there's City Slickers. But there's a scene where there's an experienced rancher, played by Jack Palance, and then there's the city boy who's out of his element, Billy Crystal. And Jack Palance says, "You know what the secret of life is?" He says, "What?" He says, "This. Your finger? No, one thing. Just one thing. You stick to that, and everything else is meaningless." He goes, "But what's that one thing?" "That's for you to find out." It's kind of cute because at the beginning you're thinking like, oh, he found out the secret of life and he just won't tell him. But realistically it is. It's for you to find out. It's for you to find out what that one thing that makes you happy. And I'll tell you what, I have found my one thing that makes me happy. And after 18 years of being married, she still makes me happy. She's still the most important thing to me. I would still sacrifice for her. I'd jump in front of that car, jump on that grenade, even if it makes me happy for just a moment. I see you guys look at each other, and I think you found the same thing. So I would like everyone to raise their glasses to the pursuit of happiness, finding it.
One of the big mistakes Chuck made tonight was to ask a retired attorney to say a few words. You would think he would have learned by now. But before I digress, I think we should acknowledge a couple people who really made a big impression today. The two girls who sang. Out of this world. I mean, they were professional. I expect to see them on American Idol.
That's right.
And I gotta give credit to my wife, who's back there videotaping me, Nancy Redd. And she's really good at it because she's a lecturer at our church, and so she reads quite a bit, and Chuck picked the right person to do it.
That was great.
And finally, Marcus, who I thought did an excellent job, very calm in performing the ceremony. Now, the background is, I'm his cousin Bob. Our dads were brothers. I'm the different one because my dad was born in Cardiff in Wales. His dad is a few years younger, and in between that time they immigrated here. So I'm the first one from a generation that was born over here. Chuck's really the second one. Now, we met Jane, Nancy and I met Jane about a year ago. We went to, took one of our trips. We're doing a lot of traveling while we're still able to stand up and talk like I am. We went to China and then spent a couple of days in Bangkok and then came back. And Chuck had called us and said, well, you guys are coming through LA. You've got to meet Jane. And, you know, well, Jane I met on, you know, the internet and blah, 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 and I've been going out with her, and it was just starting at that time, because it was October of a year ago that we first met Jane. And so we landed in LA and called Chuck, we're here, I went to a restaurant, and 5 minutes after meeting Jane, I said to Chuck, you will never, ever be bored in your life again. This woman has taken multitasking to a new level. So, as many of you know, they decided they tried a few places to go. They both love to travel, obviously, and they, last May, they went to Africa. And they went to South Africa and Botswana, I think, and a few other places around. And if you folks read the papers, you will know that either at or shortly after they were there, the gold miners in South Africa went on strike. The Congo had a new civil war. Egypt threw out their president. Tunisia had an assassination. And, you know, they just laid waste to Africa. And all I heard from Jane was, I didn't like one airport. But other than that, I loved it. I just loved it. Now, in 3 days, having laid waste to Africa, in 3 days, they're going to France. France is not ready. They've got problems. Chuck has studied his parlez-vous, and they're going to drive through the Loire Valley and see some chateaus, I believe, and they're going up to Paris, and they're going to Fontainebleau. And I have decided to rechristen the bride as Jane of Arc. Hopefully they will never get near Orleans. If they're going there, I expect the French armies to start marching with the banners and the whole thing. And then they're going to Bayeux. Bayeux is famous for the Bayeux Tapestry. Brief history lesson. The Bayeux Tapestry is the story of William the Conqueror of Normandy, who came over to England, beat in 1066. Harold of Saxony thus changed English history. However, there's this one huge tapestry, and it's very famous. So we listen to the BBC a lot. We're hoping, because we like global stars, we're hoping we don't get a story with a dateline from northern France that says there was this American couple on a honeymoon looking at the Bayeux Tapestry. And the bride, after going like this and measuring it out, decided she pulled out her Nordstrom measuring tape and decided it wasn't hung right. And so after making some alterations, the bottom line was half of it was unraveled and the other half was wrinkled. They're then going down the road about 30 miles or so to Normandy, which we expect in years to come will be known as the second D-Day. So they're coming back, they've got some, their next, after this trip, they're looking at Australia, New Zealand. And I don't think the Kiwis and the Aussies are ready for this invasion. I think Down Under is going to become over up by the time these two get through. Anyway, a little levity here, but it's you know, Jane is a scream, as you all know, and you know, I heard a few screams. So I've made enough levity of the situation. I think they're very happy with one another. Obviously, Chuck and I go back a long time, 70 years plus. So when we played together as kids, so I've known him probably longer than anyone else here. So he's happy. That's what this is all about. We're happy that all you people came. I've never seen a wedding where I think just about everybody showed up, and all the tables are filled. I think that's fantastic. That's a tribute to both of them, that you would think enough of them to take time out from what your busy lives are, whatever, and come to celebrate their day of happiness. So with that, raise your glasses, and Cousin Chuck and Jay.
We're still at the reception of the wedding here. Wedding dinner. This couple just got married recently and bought a house. Boy, they got a long thing ahead of them, huh?
I love
And Jane still happy. DJ, Alan Bjornsson, and Chuck happy, and son Chuck the third gave a great speech.